Have you ever stopped to think about the difference between just living and truly being alive? It sounds like the same thing, right? But it's not. It's a subtle distinction that could totally change how you see your world, and we're about to dive into exactly what it means.
So let's start with a big question. What does it really mean to be alive? You probably think, well, it's about breathing, having a pulse, feeling things, reacting to stuff. But what if I told you there's a much, much deeper answer?
And right here, this is the core idea. See, on one hand, you've got being conscious. That's just the basic stuff. Feeling, sensing, reacting. A plant turning to the sun is conscious in a way. But on the other hand, you have what it means to be truly alive. And that's all about actively making sense of your experiences to build a life that actually feels meaningful. It's a huge shift from just passively reacting to actively understanding. To help us get a handle on this, we can look at our lives through a framework of 4 distinct levels. Think of it like a ladder of awareness, a way to map out how we experience our existence. We're going to explore these 4 levels one by one, starting from the ground up. The physical, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual. Each one builds on the last, and each one offers a richer, deeper way of engaging with your life.
All right, let's start at the bottom with the foundation. These are the levels we're all pretty familiar with, the physical and the mental.
Okay, so at the physical level, being alive means recognizing that our bodies are a direct result of our choices. When you feel sick after eating junk food, or you feel great after a good workout, that's you, operating on this level. This super fundamental understanding that actions have physical consequences is literally the bedrock of all modern medicine. Then you climb up to the mental level. This is the world of thinking. It's where we connect the dots between the past and the present to figure things out. This is what lets us learn from our mistakes, invent tools, build entire societies, and even argue about philosophy. It's the engine of human civilization, for real. Next up, we move into our inner world. We're climbing to the 3rd level, the emotional. Now, this is where things get a little more complex. It's a realm that our modern world, with its obsession with logic and reason, has kind of pushed to the side sometimes. The emotional level is all about being guided by our feelings, by that deep gut instinct or inner sensing. And yeah, it's often dismissed as being irrational or not logical, but what's so cool is that science is actually starting to catch up. New research is showing that the heart has its own network of neurons, basically its own kind of brain or intelligence. How wild is that?
Now, our emotional life isn't just one thing. It really has 2 sides. You've got reactive emotions, like jealousy, joy, or fear. These bubble up directly from our physical experiences. But then you have proactive emotions. These are born from our mental activity. We're talking about things like artistic creativity, inspiration, and our amazing imagination.
But here's a really, really important distinction we need to make. Even the most powerful, creative imagination, the kind that can dream up whole new universes, is still focused on the material world. So, according to this perspective, having a lively imagination is not the same as being spiritually alive. It's a different level entirely. And that brings us to the top of the ladder, the summit, the 4th and final level, the spiritual. This is definitely the most profound, and maybe the most challenging, because it's the one that tries to find meaning in everything, even in the face of incredible suffering. To really wrap our heads around this, we need a story. So imagine a family. They're living a peaceful, happy life when suddenly, out of nowhere, their entire world is completely shattered by war. Their home is destroyed, the father is killed, and the mother has to grab her young son and just run. They end up in the absolute misery of a refugee camp. And as if things weren't bad enough, her little boy gets sick with typhoid fever. She has nothing. She can only sit there and watch, completely helpless, as he lies dying on the bare floor.
Now, our mental and emotional reaction to that is immediate, right? It's how? How can there possibly be any justice or any meaning in that? It just feels random, cruel, and totally senseless.
This is where the spiritual level offers a completely different way of looking at it. It introduces a principle, which some call the law of karma. Now, the key idea here is not about punishment. It's the concept that every single one of us has to live through experiences we either need for our own development or that we ourselves have caused for others in the past. So, from this viewpoint, the purpose of even the most horrific experiences is to give us a chance to learn, to change, to grow. The spiritual perspective suggests that behind what looks like just random, pointless suffering. There's actually a hidden logic, a hidden love and justice. It's a mechanism for our own evolution. Okay, wow. So let's pull all of this together and see how these 4 levels actually create the blueprint for a truly meaningful life. So here it is, the whole path laid out. It starts with physical awareness, just taking care of our bodies. Then we climb to mental awareness, using our minds to learn and create. From there, it's emotional awareness, tuning in and understanding our inner world. And finally, we reach spiritual awareness, recognizing the deep, invisible laws that shape our experiences.
And this brings us right back to that core idea. We only truly begin to live, to be spiritually alive, when we can make sense of everything that happens to us, the good and the bad. That's where real meaning is found. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. When you look at your own life, your own day-to-day experiences, at what level are you truly living?